This video will show you what you can expect when using the Olympus Normal Zoom Pro level lens together with the Panasonic gx7. To be more specific, the Olympus lens is the 14 to 40 millimeters f2.8. This lens doesn't have any optical image stabilization. The reason for this is that Olympus are using their stabilization on their sensors instead. On the other hand, Panasonic, on their lenses, they want to have an optical image stabilization. So I'm going to show you some footage of hand holding it. I'm not going to run or move anything, just trying to pan or holding it by hand. And you will see the result, and I think that you will get an understanding of how it behaves. And I should not forget to tell you that I'm using ISO 800, Aperture priority on the Aperture F2.8, which all these clips are shot at. The two previous footage I show you are recorded in 40mm focal length, by the way. I think the hand shape become more noticeable when we go to the focal length around 40mm, as you can see in this video. So here it's really noticeable. Let's play around with the focal length a bit. Here we are at 40. And then I'm going down a bit in focal length and going back to 40 once more. And then I will go all the way down to 14 and pan the camera a bit. And there we go. In the next footage I will pull the focus manually at the 40mm focal length. An incredible feature with this lens is that you can get very close to subjects. These are all shots, I think most of them are at 40mm, otherwise I say anything else. It's not a macro because a macro is a 1:1 lens and this is not 1:1 actually. But as you can see, it's really impressive how close you can get, and you get a narrow depth of field, which is very pleasant actually. And in this footage I'm trying to get as close as possible and the fun thing is that I will move one step closer and try to put autofocus all the time and see how close I can get. And I don't want to make any editing in this because I want to show you my surprises here. Because at first I was like, okay, let's try. Wow, it was putting focus. Then I tried to get a bit closer. Wow, it focused. And next time, wow, it focused again. And I was, what is it focusing even at that distance? And it continued to surprise me actually. At some point I was hitting the leaf with the lens cap. I was really close there. So that's something I was getting really surprised with this lens. Imagine how cool you can make some videos now if you had a gorilla pod so you don't get the handshake there. So that's one impressive feature with that lens actually. And in the following footages I'm messing around with the focus ring a bit. Even if it's not a complete manual mechanic focus ring, it is digitally transferred. It behaves really smooth anyway, I have to say. So it's very pleasant to work with in video. Here's another footage at 40mm. I forgot to point out that when I made these recordings, these are made in December, so we don't have that good light conditions in December, especially not around 2 o'clock. So I was working with I would say that when it gets in the dawn of the day actually, it's getting dark so quick here in Sweden. So even if it's getting dark, this lens performed very well. And to remember, it's a pro lens, f2.8. And a headache warning, because this will be very messy. I was going from 40mm to 40 there. And I moved my camera towards this subject because I want to give an experience of, and I give an understanding of how it behaves here. I'm going to try to get focus there, and it was getting focus actually without any problems. And remember that I'm standing very clumsy, and I don't have any tripod at all, since all the clips should be handheld. And I think the last clip will be showing how the bouquet will look like, if you're curious about that. This is 14mm, and I'm standing as close as I can to the subject. And let's try 40mm on the next one. And here goes 40mm focal length. I hope that this video gave an understanding of what you can expect when using this lens on a Panasonic GX7. It's important to point out that the GX7 has image stabilization on the sensor. When you use it in photo mode you can activate it, but not in video mode. That's important to think of. So it's up to what you think if this lens is good enough. Here is a photo taken with the GX7 with this lens, and it's at 40mm this also. And as you can see, you have an advantage that you can get really close to the subject. I hope this video was helping out, and please leave me a comment and tell me what you think about this combination.